Good morning, Africa. Good morning, Nigeria. It's another beautiful episode of Ways Breakfast. Hashtag, what are you saying? Where vibrant voices take over pressing conversations. And it's with great honor and pleasure that I'll be serving as anchor for today. My name is Oluchi Omeng. And of course, I wouldn't be riding solo. I'm here with the ever-present Lady Vibe, God's Beauty Israel. Hi, God's Beauty.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing well. It's been a while we had our, duo setup. It's really,
Right.
it has been us for a while, and then you left me for Kiki, but we're back again. So how are you doing this morning?
I'm
How
good,
was your
I'm
day?
good.
How was yesterday? Firstly, I want to thank everyone for
Yeah.
celebrating me yesterday. I felt like a superstar. I felt so honored.
You
I
are
felt
a
so
superstar,
blessed.
baby.
Thank you all very much. Thank you, God's Beauty. Thank you to Okikiola. Thank you to Parallax Media Group and everyone who celebrated me. I had a swell time yesterday. Thank you so much, God's Beauty.
You're
I'm truly
welcome.
honored. So just give me highlights. How was your night? How was your day? What are your expectations for today?
Expectations.
Of course, we should wake up every morning with some sort of expectation for the new day. So what
I
are you
get
looking
it.
out for?
I get it. So I think, so I'll start with this, right? I have like the normal routine.
Yeah.
Which is you have work to do after the morning show, you have like an afternoon, then you prepare for the next day, get guests and all of that. And I think I have like scripts to do in between.
I'm a
Yeah.
script writer. You're really
Amen.
doing great, and I love to
Am
see your
I?
status every time.
Aw.
I love how you coin up words, and you guys
Oh
should
my
go check her out. She is
God.
amazing.
Thank
I can't wait to
you.
see you write scripts for major storylines and major
Amen.
movies
We'll
in
get
the
there.
industry.
We'll get there. I mean,
Good.
I'm speaking to a lot of persons now. So there's this, one of the persons that did the Latif movie. That's
Okay.
the, what's the name of that movie that we just watched, the part 2 now?
can't
The Uprising. Labisi, Lishabi, and I
Okay.
think that's the name. So I'm speaking to one of the writers because, I mean, it's one, when you start helping people that are already there, it just helps you, coin out, have better niche on how to write and all
Exactly.
of that, yeah. So I'm speaking to him. He says once he has a major project again, he's definitely calling me. So I'm seeing myself having to also be part of the writers for that. And yeah, it is one thing to be intentional about growth, So once you have that emptiness and you're like, okay, you know what, I can't be here and it's time for me to start working.
Yes.
I feel like, you just see wave paving out for you,
Yeah,
and
they say
that's how
something
it is
that
for me.
one way we know that you're ready for growth is that it starts with restlessness. Once
Exactly.
you are
Once you are,
tired
nah.
of where you are,
You
that means
definitely
you're
move.
ready for growth. I know
Yes.
from our New Year's series that we started the first week of our New Year's show, we spoke about how networking can really help
Yeah,
young people
true.
position themselves or in any industry and do great exploit. All right, it's our Wednesday special, and we are super pumped to open up personal social issues that are concerning us all. Today, we'll explore young and single parenting, yes, and want to answer the question, is it really that hard? Remember, you're the main ingredient in this conversation, and we would love to hear your thoughts on this. Our phone lines are open. Please ensure to call us on 070-2500-7749 or 070-1424-2420. Of course, I'm going to call out these phone lines as we progress in our show. If you are yet to subscribe to our YouTube channel, head on now to our official Upgrade TV. Click the subscribe button, like, share the link, tune into the channel 145 on GoTV, and do not miss this any day. We'll take a short break now. When we return, we'll look at the stories across the globe making waves this morning. So please stay with us. We'll be right back shortly.
Tell us you're a Nigerian without saying a word. Energy security is one of the most pressing issues for many developing countries like Nigeria. And if there's going to be any meaningful progress, addressing our energy issues is non-negotiable.
I know see light for my house. Make them do something.
Band A is expensive. I literally have to turn off all my appliances just to reduce costs.
We need light.
Introducing the Energy Outlook, your go-to show for everything energy. Every week, we'll bring you the latest insights, innovation, and in-depth analysis of Nigeria's energy sector. From policy discussions to regulatory insights, we'll analyze the key decisions influencing growth and sustainability in the energy sector. We'll bring you the human stories behind the headlines, giving you a personal perspective on the broader energy challenges. Join me every Friday at 6 p.m. for the Energy Outlook, your guide to the future of energy, where energy means business.
We're sure glad to have you back from that short break. Now let's take a look at the news from the pages of today's newspaper. Today we have the local Guardian and the International Guardian, and of course the Daily Trust. Interesting, right?
Interesting, yeah.
So let's start with the International Guardian, then come to the local Guardian and the Daily Trust.
All right, so let me quickly guide you through the Guardian newspaper.
These lines this morning.
Amen. All right, so by the top left of the masthead, we have, I was the wimpy kid who got sand caked in his face. And that's just talking about a feature of co-founder, that's James, highlighting his inspiring journey and transformation. By the top right of the masthead, we have what I have learned from 15 years of being single. I think that's something that everybody should actually go check because it's an insightful piece about lessons and reflections on long-term singlehood. Our middle central headline, that's beneath the masthead, we have Starmer backs Reeves and warns of ruthless public spending cuts. So that's talking about Labour leader, that's Keir Starmer, as he supports Rachel Reeves' tough stance on fiscal discipline as she faces market pressures. Below the masthead, that's by the left column, we have revealed £1.6 trillion cost of Forever Chemicals. That's an investigation uncovers the staring cleanup cost of environmental pollution caused by persistent industrial chemicals. Below the main headline, that's by the center, under the image of Andre Murray, we have back to business. Murray enjoys winning return as Djokovic coach. So far right column, that's the three-stack headlines. As you can see there, we have pregnancy risks as apps replace the pill study. And that's what I'll be talking about. So it says the details, right? It says women in England and Wales are increasingly ditching traditional hormonal birth control like pills in favor of fertility tracking apps. These apps help women monitor their menstrual cycles to predict when they are least or most likely to get pregnant, offering a natural way of contraception. Right now, this matters because the shift shows that women are looking for alternatives to hormonal methods, right? Which some feel have side effects and don't align with their preferences. It also reflects how technology is becoming a bigger part of healthcare and personal choices. Now, the concern is the fact that the worry is that these apps may not be as reliable as pills or other methods, which I actually agree. Now, further, it says if the app's predictions are wrong or users misunderstand how to use them, it could result in unintended pregnancies, in raising questions about how safe it is to rely solely on apps for birth control. Honestly speaking, I feel like, in as much as I like the fact that apps are now making bigger waves now, helping. I mean, that's the use of AI, right? To support whatever the humans are already doing. So getting an app that would literally show when mostly you actually or likely get pregnant, when probably you have sex today night, just start showing that, okay, during this time from this time to this time, probably don't, have sex so that you might actually fall prey to, being pregnant and all of that. But at the same time, there are people that don't know how to use these apps. There are people that, these apps too might not really know, because, everybody's health system is different. And you know that, our health system actually changes due to the kind of things we eat. I think of recent now, I've been eating in small portions, and the fact that I've been jogging, there's just a different way. So every morning I'm supposed to be defecating, right? But because of my change of routine of food and even what I start doing every morning, I don't find myself defecating every morning again. It's probably like every evening. I don't know if you get. So and that's something that apps cannot actually tell you. Do you get? So I think people should still just stick to the whole pill thing, because like I said, these apps will not tell you how your body system is, especially when you have when you change your routine of food. There's a way I will start feeling. There's a way I'll start breathing if I'm eating certain kind of food. You sure if I eat too much of beans, I start having heartburn. Do you get what I'm saying? So you see that our health system is quite different. So I don't think it's something that apps would actually tell you. So this whole pregnancy thing, if you want to be sure that you're not ready to carry anybody's child yet, I think you should well stick to your pills instead of, going for this apps.
The thing about pills is that there are also a lot of side effects.
Side effects, yeah,
so you
true.
cannot just give the
that's why you should
of pills. I think it's just best to stick close to your doctors. If you want to take good care of your
I would
health.
actually say you should probably abstain or something.
Yes, that's another one.
That's something
that's
just
the
abstain.
safest one, like they always teach us in school.
Because
100% safe.
if you have sex now, you use pills there's a side effect to it. It's either you would, when it's not time for you to now have those children, they will not be delaying. No, that's the thing. They will not be delaying getting one. So, or I mean, you use apps now, and you're not probably sure how your health system is, and you might just end up getting pregnant. So I think you should just abstain. Actually.
Very interesting. Now let's see what the local Guardian papers have for us. The major headline reads: Better equipment, compensation, prosecution of terrorists top agenda. 50 billion naira budget can't end insecurity, says Matawale. He tells lawmakers, actually. And police threaten litigation, demand apology from Amnesty International. Obedient movement, factions exit won't affect LP, says party chief. ASU opposes diversion of TED fund resources as reps push tax reforms. Seaport rehabilitation, others missing from 38.3 billion naira maritime allocation. Above the major headline, we see investors lose 1.1 trillion from sell-off in 41 stocks. Reps panel fought 286 million naira allocation to 109 foreign mission. And the last story here, CBN fines 9 banks 1.35 billion naira for not dispensing cash via ATMs. And I like to talk about that one very briefly because I like how it was addressed. So the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has sanctioned some deposit money banks, DMBs, for failure to disburse cash via the ATM during the UTAD season. The Apex Bank said the action was a clear indication of its no-nonsense stance on dry ATMs dotting the country. Statement issued by the bank in Abuja reads, each bank was fined 150 million naira for non-compliance in line with the CBN's cash distribution guideline following spot checks on their branches. It said the enforcement followed repeated warning from the CBN to financial institutions to guarantee seamless cash availability, particularly during the periods of high demand. And the affected financial institutions include, very surprisingly, Fidelity Bank, First Bank, Keystone Bank, Union Bank, Globus Bank, Providence Bank, Zenith Bank, United Bank for Africa, and Sterling Bank. God's Beauty, what do you think about this sanction that happened? Firstly, let me just let you know that I love how we can see that there's accountability here. And I like the structure that is being put in place in the financial institution where, you know, there is the head body and then there are other financial institutions other that are, you know, they ought to follow the directions and the guidelines of this. And we see that this sanction has clearly showed us that there is some sort of accountability that happened there. And I don't know if you experienced this during the UTAD seasons where you could not withdraw money at some point at some of these ATM stands. And this is, it's not a very nice thing to happen. I remember that last time where we had cash scarcity and everybody was agitated. Honestly, POS people made the most of money. So we have gone through that phase and we know what it means not to have cash. Of course, we can do cashless transactions. In fact, I think that period taught many of us to be able to live without cash. But you cannot still take away the fact that some downfall drivers will not collect transaction from you.
There are people that still don't even have an active account.
Exactly. I mean, there are some market women that will tell you. In fact, I'm so surprised when I even go to the market. I'm like, don't you have Opay or Pampy? At least microfinance banks are usually very popular in these marketplaces. And then you're not coming to tell us that you're not going to dispense during the UTide when the demand is so high. I'm so happy that I'm so happy it's sounding somehow, though. But it shows that there's some structure that is being put in place to ensure that there's accountability and the no-nonsense, in quotes, by the CBN is being followed.
Talking about structure, right? I think even the POS individuals too, they need to start putting regulations around them. Because I feel like those people just wake up one morning and they just look at, oh, it's hard for us to get cash. Then they just increase, you know, the money. So it's quite ridiculous to me. I mean, I'm collecting, before now, it used to be 5,000 naira for 100 naira. Right now, 5,000 naira is 200 naira. And imagine buying money more for money, like it's, I mean, that whole mentality thing. In as much as we've adopted it, I mean, that's something, and that's like typical Nigerians, right? Who've accepted it that, okay, we don't have a choice, given that, I mean, the banks that are supposed to be giving us money would actually disperse money when they want to. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. So I think there should be a bit of regulations with the POS guys.
Honestly. All right, let me take you through the last paper for today, the Daily Trust. I saw something that really seemed interesting. The major headline reads, Cash Crunch. CBN fines 9 banks 1.35 billion. Just said recently, war on Gaza, Israel to OK ceasefire deal. Ex-Sokoto governors Bafara dumps PDP, neglecting ex-soldiers dangerous for fight against insecurity, says Irabor. Vulcanizer sets lovers ablaze during argument in Abuja. Very interesting. Boko Haram burns churches and houses in Borno. The other story says, we can't fight banditry with 20 armored personnel carriers. And the last story says, student leaders to get rice as Tinubu extend palliatives to SUG. There's this particular story that it seemed that I mixed it up. I think it was on The Guardian, the one that spoke about the 50 billion budget, how that it cannot end insecurity. And I want to ask the first question. To end insecurity, what is the first thing that we're looking out for? Is it the money exactly? Like
Or
the
the
budget that you are allocating. You can say 100 billion today, you can say 200 billion today.
The question is,
there have
what
been
is
so
the
many
money
budget
used for?
allocation, but we have been seeing that the insecurity has not been dealt with. So is it exactly the money that is being used to address that? Is that the first focus that we should have in dealing with insecurity?
Of course not. I mean, you're not supposed to start from the people that are supposed to be fighting the crimes themselves, the people that you put in place, that's the officers, is it the
They would
police you're
complain that they
looking
do
at?
not have the tools, they do not have the equipment.
First of all, get to those persons. When you have those persons, because most of the people that you literally see that are calling themselves police officers are literally just there for the money. They're not really putting in the work. Do you get what I'm saying? If the ones we have on ground are actually doing it, I don't think the level of insecurity that we have right now here in Nigeria is going to be the way it is, right? There was a video that I watched where, I mean, something around armed robbery attack was happening, and you see some police officers running to go and hide their head. That means you don't know your job. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because tell me, if me, I'm running, me that have nothing to do with you people, I'm running, you too, you are running with your uniform. Come on now. So if we have the right persons on ground, then we cannot.
They didn't have the resources to face these people.
But I saw him with works. Come on now. We have to first of all have the right persons. Once we have the right persons that understand the nature of their job and to serve, then we can now start talking about having the adequate facilities and all of that. Then once we also have that on ground, then I mean, that's it.
Insecurity can be dealt with. All right, this is where we wrap up the headline stories, and we have a very hot topic for today. In fact, when I posted this on my social, someone commented and said, this is very deep, oh. So I've started pinching people in the right areas. It's a conversation that you really not expect us to take, but it also addresses and concerns young people, and that's why we're discussing it today. So as mentioned earlier, today's topic is on young and single parenting. I want to answer the question, is it really that hard? We'll take this short break, and when we return, we're going straight into the hot topic.
Looking to take your business to the next level through partnerships? Then join us every Thursday at 10 a.m. for Partner Up.
Whether you're an entrepreneur, marketing, sales, or partnership professional, Partner Up is here to give you the tools you need to succeed.
From in-depth interviews with industry experts
To real-world case studies of successful partnership strategies that drive innovation and business growth.
we dive deep into what it takes to form successful partnerships.
Thursdays, 10 a.m.
Don't miss Partner Up.
All right, welcome back, viewers. As mentioned earlier, we're discussing single parenting amongst young people. Now, single parenting amongst young individuals is a growing trend in today's society. With changing cultural norms, rising divorce rate, unplanned pregnancies, and evolving family structures, more young people are navigating the challenges of raising children on their own. Now, while this can be a fulfilling experience, it often comes with unique hurdles that may affect the parent, the child, and the society as a whole. Now, young and single parents frequently face financial instability, limited access to education, societal stigma, and the difficulty of balancing work, personal life, and parenting duties. Despite these challenges, many young parents exhibit remarkable resilience, finding creative ways to thrive and provide for their children. This discussion aims to unpack whether single parenting for young individuals is truly as hard as it seems. We explore its challenges, societal perceptions, support systems, and possible solutions that could make the journey less daunting. We have a video that I would like to play before we start our conversation. Let's have the video.
What are two common misconceptions about single mother, and you can correct that here?
Common misconception.
Single mothers, they don't train up their children in a proper way. That's the fact.
Oh, you believe that?
No, it's just about the person.
But that's the fact. That's the fact. If you watch out some children that grew up with a single mother, a single father, and you can't compare them with children that grew up with their both parents.
So are you saying that if a single mom is not toxic, is good, just because there's no presence of a man in her life, that child will be worse than a child that grew up in an abusive home with a mom and dad? Is that what you're saying? Just because two parents are present?
When two parents are involved, the way the children behaves are different. That is the fact. Yes, because some children, they are scared of their father. You understand? Sometimes when their mom says something or try to, put them through or correct them, they won't listen. But when their father shout at them, you see them, a kind of respond to their father's scold or whatever.
Anyone can train a child. Even a man might not really necessarily be the best person to train a child. So it doesn't really matter. You don't have to be a single mother to know how to train a child. But that's what most people misunderstand them to be, that a single mother don't know how to train kids.
And that's false.
Yeah, it's false.
Video and people giving their different point of view to this. So when we talk about single parents, young single parents especially, personally, I want to talk about something I saw on someone's status.
Okay.
And the person said, it was this TikTok video where someone said, you're 39 and you want to commit abortion, or you want to abort your baby. That's really weird. You're not a toddler or a teenager anymore. So whether you're married or not, have that child. You're an old person already.
Jeez.
And maybe realize that, okay, maybe it changes with the age. So when I talk about single parents, there are two kinds of single parents to look at. There's the father single parent and the mother single parent. That is the mother, the young parents that is training the child alone, and the father that is training the child alone. I think that there's actually going to be huge differences between how both would train their child if they do not remarry. There's the case where sometimes they can remarry, or maybe if they were not even married before, remarry would be like they were married before, or probably just get a partner and train the child together. So let's start the conversation with, what are the most common challenges that young single parents face today, and how do they navigate them?
So I like to see things this
Differently.
way. Yeah, of course I like to see things
I love your
differently.
mind. I love it.
So let's start with when you're talking about the young whatever, the first question I want to ask that came to my head is, what age are we looking at?
All right.
Because it's then we will not talk about the challenges. You get? It's someone that is 20. The challenge is different from someone that is probably 22 or 25 or something. Then someone that is probably maybe 18 is different from that of 25, but they are all young. So I want to understand it, then we'll not talk about the challenges.
The truth is, I can peg young for 20-something. Have you heard this thing before where they say somebody who is 40 is still a youth? In that sense.
No, they talk about
Exactly. But I want us to talk about the real young ones that probably have fallen prey into teenage pregnancy or unplanned pregnancy. Because you can be 25, 26, and your life is not even put together for you to consider raising a child.
Definitely.
So even though you seem old or a bit mature to get married, you're still young to train up a child, maybe based on financial responsibility, emotional intelligence, and maturity. So we can peg it for early 20s. Let's use that age range.
All right. So, you already mentioned it, which is the fact that, first of all, you would definitely be disturbed mentally because you're like, okay, I'm going to be a mother and I'm yet to figure out my life. Imagine it's a new year and
and that's the first
that's
thing
the first thing that you're waking up to see and like, what's going on here?
Can take it as a blessing. Who knows?
What?
Children are blessings from God.
I hear you. But I mean, like I was saying, right? So you definitely be disturbed mentally because you're coming to realization that, okay, you're going to be a mother soon, right? Now, you remember financially, because which is like the most important, especially when you've done the obile and all of those things December, you've done the dirty December with, you know, the I just go back people. And now it's January, you're looking at the fact that, okay, I really don't have enough money in my account. Especially, you know, why, the challenges are so many. Imagine such a person now doesn't even have probably parents. I mean, somebody that would actually take care of you when you know that, okay, I am not financially strong, but, you know, there's just this sense of, I'm not financially strong, but I know my mom can come out for me. I'm not financially strong, but I know my dad is there. Do you get? But in a situation where you are literally more like alone, and probably you are the breadwinner of the house, then you would definitely see there's just a whole lot to talk about. You get? Yeah. So the challenges are from all corners. Then physically too, if it's people that are probably that have issues with their self-esteem, you now start hearing them say, "Oh, because of this child, I'm going to be looking a certain way." Sure. I'm very sure you've watched all of those videos where they would. I mean, it's so many on TikTok where you see somebody show their before and when they are now pregnant and they are looking like.
The world
Let
is
me
on
just
them.
skip it, amen. So you get what I'm saying. So there's just a lot of it. But I think I would start with when you get such a news. I feel like you that is having sex, you should know the outcome. So let's be for real. So when I see people say that, oh, I was taken off guard, in my head I'm like, when you were doing the thing, you did not know that this was what you were calling. Do you get what I'm saying? So I'm one of those persons that is very intentional. And once I'm doing something, when I'm making a decision, I don't go back. I don't feel, you know, what's regrets now, because I know that I thought about this thing through before I do it. Do you get what I'm saying? And that's why, it is important to know exactly who you're having sex with. But it's not time to have that kind of discussion. I would just say that, once you see that, you should just be mentally strong, right? Understanding that, okay, it's time for you to put forth. It's time for you to have someone else. So you should probably start working towards getting other jobs. It depends on, you know, your field and all of that. Try to get other incomes. That way you start getting financially stable. Then it will be a plus to you if you're not probably the breadwinner of the family, or if you have parents that are very stable and they're very supportive, because that way it's setting kind of burden to just be, you know, off your shoulders and you'll be a bit more relaxed. But I'd like to hear you.
So to my own point, I'd like to start with debunking some very absolute terms people use when they talk about sensitive matters like this. You know, you hear some elderly people or people that they have this stereotypical thinking. They say, a single parent can never raise a child properly. That's an absolute statement that firstly needs to be debunked. You can't be absolutely short terms, because you are now playing light on the effort of single parents who have actually done their bid to raise people and raise them well. I know of examples. I know of a particular example of someone that had to raise her boys herself, and these boys are doing awesomely well. There are different dynamics that plays to this thing. There's just people that become single parents, maybe because they were probably raped and then they had to take care of this child for themselves. And that's the woman dynamic now. For the man, it could be that the wife died and trying to settle down or get another partner is quite difficult. So using absolute statement of, you cannot raise your child properly and all of that, it's really demeaning the effort of people who go the extra mile to raise their parents, to raise their children. And we must also not take away the statistics and facts and studies that will come from it. Studies have actually shown that people who are single parents face the most tasks. It's even very clear.
It's obvious.
They face the most challenges when it comes to raising their children. There's already the societal stereotype that they have to deal with. Imagine a typical African household. You're 23, you probably just finished. Let me paint this scenario for you.
Tell me.
You just finished university at the age of 23. You had somebody that you were going to be serious with. So let me not use the teenage pregnancy pattern. You're going to be serious with this person, young marriage, as they call it. And then somehow, maybe this person eventually leaves you, but you're already pregnant because you did not follow Bible instruction. Don't mind me.
Or
probably dies. Yes, that's another one.
Because there are stories like that too.
Probably dies, and now you have to train this child alone. Now, there are some people that handle grief or the loss of people differently. You know, getting married again to another might not quickly be your first. In fact, I'm even very wary of people that quickly want to get married again. Now, let me tell you why
I think that's actually like mostly from the men's angle.
I think the women too. There are some that tell you that you're still very young. You need a father to train this child.
Okay.
You
with the
need
idea
a
of
father
you need
to
a father.
train this child, and it will come from the pressure of the home. They'll be like, see, you cannot train this child alone. And then let's not even talk about what now happens when, you know, there's now the suspicion of, will this child love, will the father love this child as he's supposed to?
Right.
So I'm painting that scenario again. You're 23, you just left school, you saw somebody very amazing, wanted to get and settle down with this person, but you had a child before the union was solidified, and now that union has scattered because family members from the pits of hell did not allow.
All the mother-in-laws and
Exactly.
sister-in-laws.
And now you're faced with raising this child alone. Remember, such a young person that has even gotten pregnant at such early age is probably just figuring out their life. Your career is just starting. So there's no financial balance, so to say, except you're a trust fund kid where you have your family that can easily support you. Do you understand? But then there's the mental state of training a child. Because if you always think that training a child is just about finances, I can provide, I can get diapers, I can send him to school, I can provide all that he needs, that you have already lost it from the beginning.
I agree.
Because there's a whole lot that comes to training a child. So looking at that dynamics, it makes me understand that, honestly, I know that we shouldn't be absolute and all, but it takes a whole lot to become a single parent. And I'd like to ask this very dicey question. Godrich, are you of the opinion that every single parent should consider remarriage in order to have, you know, properly raised children? Or consider marrying or having a partner? Let me ask the question in this way. Do you think it takes two to actually train a child, or can one person do it effectively?
Okay.
Dicey one.
Yeah, it's dicey. But I believe that a single parent can actually train his or her child properly, and that child would come into the society good, right? Now, this is it. If you personally have been trained properly, you'll be able to know what to do and how to do it. Yes.
I like that angle.
Yeah, because if you are not trained properly, that's where you start having issues with having to train your children. Let me give instance. Now, you made mention of the fact that there are people that their mindset is, oh, don't worry, I can take care of the child.
Yeah.
Now, you have such mindset because of the kind of family you're coming from.
Yeah.
Probably you see your dad only putting in the money, and anything that doesn't have to do with money, doesn't want to be concerned. So you just think that, oh, probably that's one of the ways to take care of children. Do you get what I'm saying? So back of your head, if I can make provision, I believe that you will be fine. Do you understand? And I mean, I've seen those kind of things have actually played out.
Okay.
Yeah, there's so many stories. You see people that, act like that. So like I said, that's an instance. So when it comes to taking care of children, if you yourself, you have actually gotten it right from the house, then it will not be very hard for you to train the child, because, I mean, everything has to do with your mentality, your mindset, how you think, how you reason, right? Now, the financial part will definitely come through, because if you have the right mindset, you'll be able to know that, okay, you need social work and social work. You also need to also try to spend time with the child as well, so that way, the child is not feeling left out. Do you get what I'm saying?
I get it.
So somebody that understands how a good home should run, trust me, would do a good job. But when you yourself, you are most of the times when you see that a particular parent is not training a child a certain way, it's because, like I said, it's because of the way he or she has been trained, the kind of mentality he has grown up with. Do you understand? So that's how I see it. So I don't think there is any, the stereotype of a single mother or a single father cannot train their children.
So let me get your point. You believe that a single parent can train their
Yes.
child absolutely well.
Yes.
Now, have you heard people say that a man trains a child differently and a woman trains her child differently? For example, so that means the reason why the institution of marriage came about is to have that perfect blend of the father's training and the mother's training, where the mother trains with love, compassion, care, and the father is putting discipline. I'm using the normal African mentality.
I get it.
The father is using discipline. He's training you as a leader, training you to be responsible. So that perfect blend now makes you come out as that perfect person needed for the society.
Definitely.
Now imagine, and
But
say that
the question is, can one person embody all of these things you've mentioned?
That is what I want to ask.
Yes.
Have you seen examples?
There's so many. There's so many people. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. Let's take it personal now. You yourself, right? Can you embody all of these things you've mentioned? Do you embody them?
Well, psychologically speaking, it might not be eventually easy for a woman to embody all the
Nobody-
characteristic
nobody
traits
is
of a
saying-
man
no, see,
to
it's
be able
not-
to train that way. It would take a lot of resets, like mental resets, to be able to embody such. I know you're looking at me and you want to say something different, but I'd like us to take this short break. Please, my people, would love you to really comment and tell us your own thoughts about this particular conversation. How do you perceive single parenting? Is it really that hard? Is it possible in our generation today? Our phone lines are open. I'll take it again, 070-2500-7749 or 070-1424-2420. We'll take a short break and be right back shortly.
Nigeria, by extension Africa, battles a growing youthful population, and with little or no meaningful engagement, lives a ticking time bomb on our hands. We are a blessed continent with great wealth, both in people and material. Our focus on ways remains driving conversations that affects us all. Topics in the news, social concerns, politics, leadership, governance, empowerment, resource management, conflict management, finance, SME sustainability, technological innovation, food security, health, education, brain drain, our well-being, citizenship, and much more. Our goal is to continuously drive these conversations, keep them burning at the table to effect a positive change, both for our nation and continent. Ways, what are you saying, has a secret ingredient that completes the conversation every single episode, and that ingredient is you. Our past conversations shaped our yesterday. To shape our tomorrow, we must keep talking. So, I want to hear you. Be a part of our live conversations Mondays through Fridays. And let's all have our say.
Welcome back, viewers. Thank you for staying with us. Our topic today is addressing the challenges that young and single parents can face. And we started opening up the discussion, talking about our own different perspectives to this, and I'd like to hear your own thoughts on it. Our phone lines are open, and you can also send a message to us via our YouTube platform. For some reasons, I like to call out these phone lines again, because I know somebody has been trying to dial it. And it goes thus, 070-2500-7749 or 070-1424-2420. All right, guys, Riti, let's go back to our discussion. So we ended the last segment with saying that can one person train a child, and is it different when two people train a child? Because it's expected that a man trains a child differently and a woman trains a child differently.
Yeah.
So if it's only... Now, have you heard some people say that maybe some tomboys or stud girls, as they call them, are people that probably, apart from them growing up with brothers, they probably were trained by just a
their
man.
father.
Exactly. And they can also say the same for a boy also that was trained by just her mother. Do you understand? So
Yes.
you are talking about the fact that a person can embody both characteristic traits. How possible do you think this is?
I think it is actually. If you see, intentionality will take you far, right? So let me use myself as a perfect example.
Perfect.
Yeah, I know that in as much as if I have a child now, I don't. But,
Very soon.
Amen. So if I have a child now, I know that, I mean, of course I cannot, take the responsibility like 100% what a father would have done, you get, if he was, to be available and all of that. But I mean, that's where it is now, it is my responsibility now to learn, right? If, I was trained by a father, what do you think fathers do, right? What do you think, what do my mom do? That's why, it just takes me back to all the things I've said earlier. which is if you are a product of a good home, trust me, you embody all of those things without stress. Let me give you this part. Let me give you this example. When I was a bit younger, when I say younger, like younger, back then when, let me just say 2-3 years, when they wake you up to go and ease yourself.
Yeah.
Now, do you know, my mom was never like someone to do that. It was actually my dad that does that. Do you get what I'm saying? When we were very young, he would wake us up, let's just say 12:01, or you're going to ease yourself. We would not want to stand up. You see, there's tea for you, there's tea. Like, this man wakes up every night to boil water, make tea for us to drink. This is no jokes. This, I'm telling you what he does
like
on
an
a regular.
for you to stand
exactly. Do you know that there was a time why I can say this now was because there was one of those days where you have to sit down and you're meditating about your past and everything. That memory just, sticks somewhere in my head, right? Even down to my junior sister. I think that's one of the reasons why probably that one likes tea. Me, I don't like something that is too much. I consider it more like you have made me take this thing too much and I don't want to take it anymore, right? But like I'm telling you that this is something that my dad does every time. And there's so many other things that he did. So imagine I have a child now. That's something I've learned. Trust me, when it's my turn to, I will do the same thing. So when you're a product of a good home, it will show when you have children, regardless of whether you have an additional partner to take care of the child for you.
Okay. Now that's for the parent angle, the single parent that is raising the child. Now, let's consider the child that is being raised by a single parent. I know stories of people that, they don't like to associate with people in schools, in classrooms. And that's one thing that teachers should observe and educate us. You can have a different blend of students in your class. There are some people that they're probably just too quiet, so reserved. It's not because they're inherently introverts. A lot of them are going through a lot of things at home, and it somehow seeps through and it shows in the classroom. So sometimes, you could have very young people in school. One way I was able to discover this for one research that I did was that some young people, when they come to school, and you have programs like Mother's Day or Father's Day, all right, or maybe PTA meeting, or just any meeting in school that involves two parents coming together. And then there's this particular child raised by a single parent, and no male figure or female figure comes to represent such a person. Now, it's possible that that single parent has done her best or his best, has embodied all the characteristics. He's the man and the woman at once, and the child is not really lacking. He's doing his possible best to raise this child. But I want to talk like a child. Do you think it's really easy for young people who are raised by a single parent at that young stage to really survive in a very hostile community where you can have some really unbridled tongues in your class, say, where's your mom, where's your daddy, which one is the mommy, which one is the daddy, and this thing sits in their head and they're feeling like they're incomplete. How do you think that we can navigate? Because honestly, I feel like it's a very, very difficult thing. And most of these people will not talk to you about it. You ask them, what's wrong? Why are you quiet? Why are you silent in class? They might then have another coping mechanism where they can even be very intelligent. So they can be very good. You'll be like, but you're not doing bad academically. Your lunchbox is full. What exactly is the problem? There's an undertone of them not feeling complete. So what do you have to say?
So that's why it's open to communication, right? As a parent, regardless of whether you have a partner or not, it's important that you have good relationship with your children. Trust me, when you have good relationship with your children, there's nothing in this planet Earth that they will not tell you. Even when they know that you kick against it. There's some things that I know that if I tell my mommy now, she go para, I go first keep her. When he don't ripe, to tell him, I go tell him. But I go shut tell him. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's important that, be it single or whether you have a partner, it's important that you have good relationship with them. That way, they tell you things, how they feel and all of that. And thank God for therapy. Do you get? Because the truth is, one way or the other, they will definitely feel it that, oh, I don't have a mom or I don't have a dad. Even though my mom is doing too well, even though my dad is doing, so they will always feel it. And that's why it's important that, one is have conversations with them. Two, also tell them, why don't they have parents? Why don't they have a mother? Or why don't they have a father? It's important that they know these things. Oh, probably your father is late, he died, and that's something that, I cannot control. True. Right? The child will understand it. Oh, this is something that happens every time. So I'm not even the first. So whoever that has seen anything, I'm okay. Do you get what I'm saying? So because it didn't happen to you doesn't mean I'm less of a child or something. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's important that you have these conversations with them. Make them feel human. Make them feel they are, enough. Do you get what I'm saying? Yes. Make them feel they are enough. And that's why, like I said, therapy. They can always go for therapy where they sit down, they meditate, they teach them the right things, they, inform them on, okay, these are things that happen. You're not the first person that this is happening to, so that they get it. Because one of the reasons why you see that children are a bit withdrawn and all of that, because they feel like they are the only person that has happened to in this world.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? So when you're able to speak to them and tell them that you see this problem, me too, I'm feeling it. Because see, Papa Chinirena, in gets me, I do not have, because all thanks to death. Right? So it's important that you have conversations. Trust me, with all of these things I've said, there's no how the child will not turn out well.
Turn out well. Okay. Do you think that's also good and enough reason for single parents to want to remarry? Should they consider that their child first to want to remarry? So to me, it's not looking like I just want to remarry so that my child is not going to feel like there's an empty space here. And there's a father figure role. Even though I'm doing well, I'm feeling both roles together. But let me just remarry so that she can have the feel of a father.
A man or woman, single, right, that is already having this mentality, has actually gotten it wrong. Because if you believe that you can actually do it yourself, if you now say that, oh, okay, probably because of the financial gains, that's why you probably need to remarry. That's understandable.
This is not, I'm not talking
if
finance.
It is not finance,
I'm talking
and
about
it's probably because
considering the child, knowing fully well that, let me not let this child have
it's because you yourself, you have an issue with it. Do you understand? Yes, you are yet to come in terms with, okay, you can actually take care of this child on your own. So until you even start having that mentality, before we actually think you're even passing the right information to the child. It's simple.
Honestly, I'm looking at it in a very different way. I don't think it will be so, depending on the age and how open your heart is to heal from whatever grief that made you.
You see, exactly, that one too is one part. You see one thing about this whole remarrying and all. I feel like you should remarry if you want to get married, right? It should be for the right reasons.
So would the wrong reason be for having a partner to take care of my child? Is that a wrong reason?
Financially.
Yes, financially. Is it a wrong
reason? It's not a wrong reason.
It's
not.
But
saying because you want to fill the vacuum and because you feel like you are not capable, is because you are not capable actually.
But that's not a wrong reason then. Because if you want to remarry for the purpose of companionship and having a partner to help
different now.
Relieve the body.
Honestly, this is different.
Am I getting your point exactly?
So now, see, this is it here. Now, if you're getting married based on companionship, right? That's understandable. And partnership, understandable. If you're getting married because of probably financial reasons and probably companionship, because there's no how they want to add it
together.
I will understand it. But saying that you're looking at the child and you feel like you cannot embody the mother and father.
But is that not why you're saying partnership? What is partnership before?
Wait.
Partnership is I can't do this alone. I need somebody to help me with this for that child. So it's still part of it.
So this is how I see it here, right? If you are actually taking care of, if you're actually going to get married, because I'm also looking out for you too. If you're saying that you actually want to get married just because of the child, on the long run, I mean, you will get tired of it. Trust me. Because now you're probably not, romantically involved with the person. You're just there for the child. What happens if the child, grows and, of course, the child will definitely leave. What happens to you? So you should, in as much as you want to look out for the child, you also have to look out for yourself as well. You will not want to bring in somebody, or, want to be in a relationship with somebody that you, really cannot stand, but because of the child. Come on now. At the end of the day, you probably not still train that child very well, because now you are mentally F up. Yes. You are mentally F up. That's the truth. So I don't know how you're saying these things, but that's the truth, actually.
Yeah, I'm saying it. I'm thinking of this song where a mother's love, she's just so caring. She's thinking about her child first, and will literally go the extra mile for her child. And the marriage now becomes a very transactional one. But the con to this that I'm looking at is, if this partner of yours is now getting that vibe from you, that the reason I'm even in this marriage before,
because of the child,
because of that child is gonna have to deal with it later.
That's what I'm saying.
From the man or the woman.
Definitely. So that's why if you are to actually get married, right, it has to be for the right reasons. Do you get?
The right reasons? What, companionship?
Companionship, work, probably finance.
Collaboration.
Because the way I'm looking at the country right now, you need a support system that can be helping you financially, and not just on the bed already.
This is a very different perspective.
It's the truth.
It feels like you're speaking from the belly. And there's an undertone to how this is coming out.
I probably like to see things the way they are. And I like to picture things how I think, I would do it if I am in that, in that space. I would not want to get married to somebody because of only the child alone. Do you understand? Because trust me, at the end of the day, it just shows that if you already have the mentality or the mindset of the fact that you cannot take care of this child on your own, not because of the finance now, but probably because of maybe character, maybe behavior. Something relating to the fact that you cannot probably be there for the child and all of that. What makes you think if that partner comes is going to do something extraordinary?
Imagine
if that person too is
now, another scenario, sorry to cut you short, another scenario is coming to mind. Imagine a young father that probably lost his wife very young, and then they have a 3-year-old daughter. Honestly, let's just forget that whole embodying of different characteristics and traits. Do you think that man can sufficiently train up a 3-year-old girl?
I actually
to the
think
point
so.
where she become a teenager?
I actually think so.
Please tell me.
Intentionality is key. Let's start with
How
that.
intentional can you be to train up a 3-year-old?
This is it. First question is, does he have a mother? Most of the times, it can happen that he has a mother.
Based on my African knowledge, let me tell you what that mother
He doesn't have a mother.
No, he has a mother. Let me tell you what that mother will say. You're talking about marrying for the wrong reason. Exactly. So we're still going back to, eventually remarry. If it's in the African setting, I can confidently tell you that that mother will say, my son, you're too young for this. Please remarry. They'll most likely not want to take up the responsibility alone, even though some will help, but they feel like remarrying is the best. So they've already put you under pressure to want to remarry.
But at least it depends on you too. If you feel like, okay, you want to get married, who am I? Who is God's duty to stop it?
Yeah.
But regardless of what your mom has said, I don't think that's something I'll hear from my mama. Nah, she's going to take care of the child for me. Literally.
You're so blessed.
Do you get what I'm saying? So you have your mom. Now, in cases where your mom is no more or something, you have probably a big auntie or something that can probably be coming to the house, or you can probably just get a nanny, someone that will come take care of the child. You monitor the nanny, because the stories I've been hearing about nanny nowadays is not nannying anymore.
It's not. It's not nannying, really.
It's not nannying anymore. Yeah. But do you get what I'm saying? So these are like other things that you can actually do while you look for somebody or look for a partner that you can partner that can take care of the child.
With.
Amen.
I like those two words we've come out with today: partnership and collaboration. Now let's talk about extended family and the impacts that they have. The beginning of this show started with the stereotypes that come from the society and family, all that. Even though the cause of the separation might even be very grievous in the sense that maybe this person died and all, there's still that stigma that comes with. Because, people in Nigeria and Africa at large, we have a lot of assumptuous people. A lot of assumptuous people. You just see somebody that maybe have a baby face. And person is not even a young person per se. Maybe person is 29 and been married before, and then you're like, maybe she got pregnant out of. A lot of assumption with the whole African stereotype. Right? I'm African, so don't think I'm after African. Sometimes I have such assumptions as well. But now let's talk about the support that comes with African and extended families. I think it's something to really celebrate.
Right.
There's this quote that says it takes a community, or it takes more than one person to raise a child. And we have to celebrate that. Yes, we know that there are stigma that come with it, and a lot of stereotypes and the troubles and everything that comes with it. But there's still some families and communities that will raise up children. I've heard of stories of children that were raised only by their grandmothers. Only by their grandfathers.
And do you know most of the time they actually turn out well? Do you know? And there's always this excitement. It's short, even when they're talking about their grandparents, you always say, grandma did this, grandma said this.
I heard this story one time that grandparents love their grandchildren
so much, even more than their own children.
And all the disciplinary measure that they did met out on their children, they probably not do so for grandparents. So let's even celebrate. How rewarding do you think it is for extended family members to be, let me put it this way. Do you think single parents should be more open to allow extended family be part of raising their child?
I think it depends on the kind of family you actually brought up from. Because if you come out from a family where they're sounding more like a village people, I think you should probably just leave them with Holy Ghost fire, right? But if you're from a family where everybody's open to, everybody's happy, there's no bitterness, do you get? Yeah, I think, it's actually a very good support system, given that you probably don't want to get married, or you probably even have issues with your finances and you feel like, okay, you can actually just sort it out when you're your own and not with a child. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, I think that's actually a good support system. But again, if your family, if your extended family are like your village people, probably you should just keep them with Holy Ghost fire. That's it.
I think that extended families are doing well. As we begin to wrap up this show, I like something that you mentioned earlier about therapy and societal support to people who are single parents. It's not exactly an easy feat. We have good examples of people that have produced good products from single parenting, and we see responsible children that they've raised from it. But it takes a whole lot for that to happen. And so our own duty and role is to ensure that we prefer and offer the most suitable support to this individual. So in whatever capacity that you can offer this support, ensure that you do as a parent, as a teacher, as a religious leader, or whatever. And this is where we come to the end of today's show. Thank you to my co-anchor, God bless you, for your insightful contribution to the show. It's always a pleasure having you on the table. Till tomorrow again, it's a full house tomorrow, and we're discussing very pressing issues. So please join us again. Have a wonderful day. See you tomorrow.
Hello, you. Yes, you. This is Usayome Sale from Ways Primetime. Now, we appreciate your continued support for watching our content, following us across all our social media. But we've noticed, for those of you watching us on YouTube, 88.5% of you who watch our content aren't subscribed to our channel. Why? Now, if you are enjoying our content, you enjoy our shows, and you want to stay updated on all things Ways, it's time to hit that subscribe button below. Now, subscribing isn't just for you. It's for the growth of our channel. It helps us get bigger and better. With your support, we can continue to bring even more intriguing and exciting content. How about you subscribing right now and being a part of our community?